Ladies and gentlemen, in this rather brief intervention of mine, I intend to concentrate just on two aspects of the issue at stake of this seminar, namely drafting of a new constitution. The legitimacy of the mandate to make a new constitution and the credibility of the agents who want to draft such a constitution. These are the two parts that I'll be dealing with. We know ever since our national independence in 1948, there had been two constitutions that were promulgated by the two governments of the two main political parties of our country. By the government of Prime Minister Mrs. Thirimana of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party in 1972, and by the government headed by President J.R. Jayawardena of the United National Party in 1978. Both of them received a clear, huge mandate to do so from the citizens of Sri Lanka. Both Mr. Jayawardena and Mrs. Bandaranayake at the respective elections in 1970, 77 and 70 received huge mandates. However, could I continue? Yeah. However, the current effort by the present so-called unity government to make a new constitution is totally different from the above two events. The 1970 and 1977 drafting of constitutions, because I reckon, it's not my personal opinion alone, that the present rulers did not get a clear-cut mandate to do such an important, drastic thing in our country. True, in January 2015, President Maithripala Sirisena was validly elected, no doubt about that. But with a relatively thin margin, here lies what I call my argument. With a relatively thin margin, relative to Mrs. Bandaranaike's huge vote in 1970 and Mr. J.R. Jayawardena's massive mandate in 1977. And if you permit me, I belong to both the majority and the minority. I'm a Sinhalese, Mama Sinhalek Bahutara Kandayamata ayat. ඒ වගේම මම සුළුතරයටත් අයිති හේතුව මම ක්‍රිස්තියානි කතෝලික ආගමේ පූජකතුමෙක්. ඒ වුණත් මට මේ දේ කියන්න ඉඩ දෙන්න මම ලියාගෙන තියෙන එකම කියවන්න නැත්නම් මම එහාට මෙහාට යන නිසා කාල වේලාව යන නිසා. If you permit me, when one analyzes the last presidential election results, clearly his main vote base was in the north and the east, among the minorities and among the minorities elsewhere. This raises a crucial question for my purposes in this intervention. Did the majority, we have a majority group whether we like it or not, they are made to appear derogatory today, Sinhala Buddhists. But did the majority group back President Maithripala Sirisena? This is a question we can't avoid. Some of us are shy, some of us are sensitive politically. I think that the bull has to be taken by its horns. Even if one grants that President Sirisena got a mandate to do so from the Sri Lankan voting body as a whole, let us not forget his election manifesto, which read, I quote, I thought it's important, I quote now, I will not touch any constitutional articles that could be changed only with the approval of a referendum. Instead of present autocratic executive presidential system, I will introduce a constitutional structure with an executive that is allied to the parliament through the cabinet. End of quote. We have to keep that in mind. These are the people who gave in a mandate that sort of an assurance. Then in August the same year, at the general elections, all of us know that no political party received an absolute majority to form a government. I don't want to go into details. However, the two main political fronts at that elections, United People's Freedom Alliance and the United National Front, ended up with United National Front receiving a thin margin, a relative majority. At the end, what happened, all of us know, and that's a tragedy. That is, people like me and many others who voted for the UPFA, and I say it openly, I have no problem in saying it publicly, we were betrayed by a certain group of that UPFA who joined the UNF. And these are the ones who were making a big clamor when the former government recruited 17 members from the United National Party. I don't want to get into that. But the hodgepodge, අච්චාරු හැලියක් අද හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ කරත් එක ගොන්නු දෙන්නෙක් බඳලා වගේ දෙපැත්තට ඇදෙන වෙලාවක my point is neither they do have a majority, a clear-cut majority, a clear-cut backing to draft a constitution. Having said that, I want to now go to the second part, namely, who are eligible or credible agents in drafting a new constitution. According to the prevailing constitution, which is binding on all citizens, rulers and the ruled, any change to the basic tenets of the present constitution has to be with a two-thirds majority of parliament and with a referendum of the people of Sri Lanka citizens. However, if as eloquent voices of the present government keep on haranguing that they are going to make a new constitution, come what may, then are they in line with what the executive president himself vouched for at the elections in January 2015? Or is it against the executive's wishes that the so-called unity government is getting set to formulate a new constitution? These are some of the questions we need to ask. Although they are simple. බොහොම සරල ප්‍රශ්න ඒ වුණාට ඒවා අපි කෙලින්ම ඒවලට මුහුණ දෙන්නට ඕනේ නැත්තම් මේ වගේ දෙයකට අපිට දෙන්නට බෑ. The vital questions become even nastier and revealing with regard to the main topic of this seminar. If we consider the credibility of those who are clamoring to draft a new constitution, let's not forget that quite a few of the present government, including the present Prime Minister, were among those who raised both their hands to the JRJ Constitution in 1978. I was a schoolboy at that time. The very Constitution they now claim to be inadequate. That's a side point. However, my main argument here is, or rather the reasoning here is, the recent happenings, dear friends. The recent happenings ever since July 2015. I want to enumerate only some important things, then I will stop my intervention. The unceremonious appointment of Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe as Prime Minister in January 2015, when the incumbent Prime Minister was having a clear-cut majority in a parliament of 225 members. 46 දෙනෙක් මෙහි. මුළු පාර්ලිමේන්තුවම 225ක් තියදී. ලෝකේ කවදාවත් අහලා නැති දෙයක්. නමුත් ලංකාවේ අහලා නැති දේවල් ඕන තරම් වෙන නිසා ඒ දේ වුණා. ඒක එකක්. ඒ වගේ are these the ones who are going to formulate draft a constitution? Next item. The bringing in of defeated candidates through the back door. These are the ones who want to formulate a constitution. Still worse, the indefinite, now I am very particular on this point, the indefinite postponement of local and provincial government elections with never-ending, flimsy, ridiculous reasons. මේ පුංචි ළමයින්වත් රවට්ටන්න බැරි බොළඳ තර්ක විතර්ක ගෙනල්ලා ඡන්දේ කල් දාන එක. මේ අයද මේ ව්‍යවස්ථාවක් හදන්න උත්සාහ කරන්නේ? The never-ending, this is also serious, the never-ending threat of our present president that this government will continue in office till 2020 no matter what, implying thus whether they have a majority or not in parliament, they would continue. How do you like that? And these are the ones who want to draft a new constitution. Last but not least, the carefully selected prosecution only of those who are opposed to I am, as a Catholic priest, for going after any politician, whether my friend or foe, whether the one I support or not. If they are guilty, let them be prosecuted. But not selecting here, selecting there. Lastly, the untiring efforts to hush up the notorious bond scam and the sacking of any government minister who questions the justice issue of being selective in going after people. Anyway, I can go on. I stop here. All these are, dear friends, clear indications that the sheer political survival is the main motive or motto of those who want to formulate, draft a new constitution. As such, I conclude here, the present government, the ones who want to draft a new constitution, does have neither a legitimate mandate to do so, nor the credibility in drafting a new constitution. Thank you, and may God bless you.